Exactly. Cheryl Swoop. That's exactly what I think of when I think of a comb over that's not working correctly.
Cool.
Oh, man. Welcome to the Higher Energy Superpower. This is episode 21 of the Turbo Duo Cast.
21. That's how many times I want to come. And another one, 24 carats.
I'm your host, Salvatore Mata, and to my left is my brother from another game show lover. He puts the ass in classic gaming. He is the oral assassin, Trenton E. Wright III.
Yo, it's Oral B. Oral Hershiser. That's what they call me. The Oral Hershiser of podcasting.
What are your top 5 favorite orals of all time?
Like as in like a person, place, or thing? Or to me?
All of the above. I mean, whatever we want to throw in there. This is a hodgepodge. It's a...
I mean, you got Oral B and then you got Oral Hershiser.
I don't know if... Oral Redenbacher?
No, it's Orville.
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 He got me.
Yeah, this isn't like Family Feud. Top 5 orals. Put it on the board.
Yeah.
My mistress. Good answer.
I can't think of another oral scenario or person.
My wife's sister.
Wait, what was the topic?
Top 5 orals. We surveyed 100 people.
Oh, starting off with a bang, Trent. Can you believe that this is episode 21?
Yes, I can believe, because it is a number, and numbers exist.
I guess so. In Spanish, it would be 21.
Who's it? What, is there a famous 21?
What do you mean? In what way?
Sports.
Oh, number 21. I can't remember Wayne Gretzky's jersey number, so.
It's the great 33, isn't it?
I don't know, 88?
That's Larry Bird.
Oh, no, I know the Chief from...
Chief Wahoo?
From the Celtics. Robert Parrish.
Robert Parrish.
00.
Yep.
Wasn't Kevin McHale 0? Wasn't there like 0 and 00? Something like that?
Damn, Kevin McHale.
First of all, who's a 00? How is that even a number? Isn't that just superfluous? Wouldn't it just be 10?
Obsequious, some might say. No?
I don't know.
Yeah, 00. I don't know. I don't know why they allowed that.
If anybody's wondering, this is the very last Dogs vs. Shinobi.
Nobody's wondering.
That I have, and I'm probably not going to get it anymore soon, so we're going to say goodbye. We're going to pour this last one out.
We're going to bid adieu.
Yep, and my brand new Sonic the Hedgehog glass.
Because
everybody needs at least 5 of these. So, in case you're wondering, I know
it's a
kick
in the glass. Juki is a party in the can.
Hey, what's better than Juki?
Juki Jump.
I got this Juki caulking gun.
I drink 93,000 cans and I got this Juki sock.
Oh, I got this Juki halibut.
Hey. I got the Juki sea captain. I got this Juki hornet's nest. I got a Juki hernia belt, just like my favorite basketball player.
I got this Juki chainsaw. Thanks, Juki.
Is that from Little Mermaid?
Or
is that a commercial? Is that a commercial?
That was a commercial. I think it was for like a drink. Juki?
Remember?
It sounds offensive, doesn't it?
Remember Boku?
Yeah. That was like the bootleg Capri Sun, right?
With Richard Lewis.
Richard Lewis?
Yeah, the comedian.
Huey Lewis?
He was in the commercial for it.
I'm trying to think of.
Are you looking it up right now?
Juki. Oh, Jooky.
Sponsored by Pele.
Yeah, Juki. It's saying fruity is a party in a can. Juki.
I've never heard of
the
this
Juki juice.
Was this on Univision?
It was on Telemundo.
Did they sell it in America?
There's like barely any pictures of it. All you see is just like the logo, or maybe it was fake, dude. I don't know what it was from.
You know what I miss?
It might have been like on a Nickelodeon thing or something. I don't know.
Talk about
Let me reminisce.
The games of like the 80s and the 90s. What about Jolt?
Oh, it was a Sprite commercial. I think they were like making fun of.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
What about Jolt Cola?
Yeah, they.
I missed that.
I think they came back with it a little while ago.
Does it have the same amount of caffeine as it did in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, 400 milligrams. I don't know.
Isn't that what an energy drink is?
No, 400? No, that'd be like 2 of them. 2 16-ounce cans of Monster.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, no, I'd be even less. What'd you say, Jolt Cola? Yeah, I don't. It just had a little bit more caffeine. It was like a Mountain Dew.
Oh, okay. I feel like it had like double the amount of caffeine.
I mean, yeah, but that's still like how much Mountain Dew had.
Oh.
You know,
Still
what Mountain Dew? Yeah, it's like 80 or 90 milligrams
And what's
in a
Coke?
16-ounce bottle. I think it's like I think in 12 ounces it's like 40 something.
Mr.
milligrams.
Nutrition over here.
Well, yeah, it's on the can, you know.
Yeah. I would say you're one of few that actually pays close attention and then remembers exactly how many milligrams of caffeine there are. But you drink a lot of energy drinks. So.
I think it's in like in a 12-ounce can of Diet Coke or Coke. It's like 44 milligrams or something like that.
What's in coffee? Like 120?
But yeah, all depends on the size.
Mm.
No, I think a standard cup of coffee is like 80 or 80 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Very standard.
Very standard.
You know.
Very standard. So we're going to be talking about a arcade game from
coffee and Red Bull
from the early 90s. Speaking of coffee and Red Bull, we're going to be talking about Sunsetriders.
Yeah!
Which is a very early 90s arcade run and gun game, which is a true classic.
Very typical 90s.
It's it's a game that, well, we'll get into it, but it's a game that has a lot of flair, a lot of style, a lot of action,
character,
and
a lot of girls, and a lot of guys.
Made its mark. There's girls and guys in this game, unless you're playing the Super Nintendo version.
I mean, they're still there,
but we'll get into it. There's a few girls in there. We will talk about it. It's not
the ladies.
Yeah. I don't want to get too far into it. I don't want to overstep myself. I don't want to step over a step. I want to go back a step.
You don't want to jump to conclusions.
Right. Right. There's a mat for that.
Into the introduction, you know.
Well, it's funny because the other night, as I'm preparing, for this episode, I watched Major League. I don't know if I told you this, which is a movie we would have been watching right around the time that we were playing Sunsetriders.
It's like 92, 93.
So Major League came out in 89, late 89 around there, but
Sunsetriders was
Sunsetriders was 91, 92 and 93 on the home ports, but Major League was like a big movie back in the early 90s.
Oh yeah.
That we were watching.
God damn it, Dorn.
Well, it's like you watch movies today and Major League had a thrill that, like, I thought that I was worried they were going to lose in the end again. And I've watched that movie like 12 times.
Yeah, it's like Rocky. It's like Rocky.
Yeah.
You think he's going to lose. Is it?
But when have we had a movie like that where you were just at the edge of your seat because you were so invested in the characters and the comedy and everything with the movie that you just fell in love with it, that you were like, if they lose this game, I'm literally throwing the tape out, or in this case, a DVD or the digital copy. It was
the VHS tape.
That's actually what I said. I said it reminds me of Rocky in that way.
You're goddamn right.
So I don't know. I just feel like you don't get that feeling from movies today. I don't know. There was a more cinematic quality of it that had it brought together the sports, the drama. You had the catcher guy with the girl and that whole love triangle.
Yeah.
With her fiance or
wow
whatever.
Thing.
All the different characters in it.
Just a bit outside.
Yeah, and then you get the announcer and everything. So it was.
Was it Bob Uecker?
Bob Uecker, yeah.
Ball 4, ball 8.
Who I didn't even
ball
know.
12.
I always thought he was just the Indians announcer, but he's actually the Brewers announcer.
Yeah. Wild Thing loads the bases.
Ball 8, ball 12. So, anyways, I don't know why Major League was whatever it is.
It doesn't matter. Anytime you can bring up Major League, you can bring it up. Which I do own a Wild Thing jersey.
Yes, you do.
Remember, you got that on eBay.
Yeah.
Remember, this was back in the day where you were on eBay, but you could only do it from your computer.
Right.
Like I didn't even have a eBay on my phone. I don't even know if you were able to do it on your phone.
There was no app yet.
Yeah, I was working or something. I had to call you. Yo, can you bid on this for me so I don't lose it? Remember?
And that was the one we won?
Yeah. The Wild Thing Cleveland jersey?
Yeah.
I think that was like 2008 or something like that.
It was years ago.
Yeah. I didn't even have a phone. There probably was a phone that you can get the eBay. There was like some eBay kind of.
In 08, though, I don't think we really even had smartphones but at that point. I didn't.
No. I remember calling you.
I had a Razor.
I just remember calling you. Hey, can you Can you up my bid on it so I don't lose?
Do you remember what it cost you?
I don't think it was that much. I think it might have been around like $60 or something like that.
Is it a full one or does it have the sleeves cut off?
No, it's an actual jersey.
It's a regular jersey. Nice.
Ricky Vaughn, 99 high.
Yeah, winning. So let's get into some show notes, and
They still make those?
yeah, I only have one show note, and that's I was when we made the last episode talking about the Jaguar, just watching
Always.
a lot of Jaguar content, and why,
As you should.
Why is it that we are changing the way that we talk now online, like from the way we used to talk? Like we used to say niche,
Like Tevin Campbell.
and now
It's niche.
Now everybody says niche. Like we're not French. We always said niche. Why are we saying niche now? Well, people online, a lot of commentators are saying Jaguar.
Oh, are you talking
Americans,
about
Americans.
Second Opinion Games guy?
There's several of them.
Oh.
They're calling it Jaguar.
Maybe it's
and
just. I know that it might just be the way he pronounces it. I mean,
that's
I
the
don't
way.
know.
That's the way British people say the word Jaguar.
Maybe they just want to say it to piss you off.
I think so. I think what they're saying. I think where they want to come from is, well, it's not Jaguar, but if you
Jaguar.
if you say Jaguar, you're just an ass. You know.
I mean, don't get it confused with Jaguar, which is the official clothing line of the Atari Jaguar.
Which is all premium
100% cotton,
polyester
hand spun
mix, nylon base
hand spun,
in Indonesia and China.
all natural.
Yeah. But it reminded me of when I used to work at the bakery. People would come in and they would say, "Oh, can I have a croissant?" I'd be like, "Get out, just leave."
Don't use that language around here.
Yeah, don't
In front of my kids
don't
and my goddamn family, you're gonna call it a croissant?
don't stain this place by calling it a croissant. First of all, you're an Italian bakery.
A croissant?
A croissant. A croissant.
Oh, you can miss my croissant.
Yeah, no, it's a croissant. You can say croissant. You're American. It's fine. Am I just getting too upset about this?
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about croissants.
All right. It's
Good thing it hasn't bothered you for 25 years.
It's a good thing. It's perfectly. Let me
been waiting for.
Let me give you guys a PSA. It's perfectly fine to say Jaguar. Jaguar, right? Jaguar. Just say
Two
with
syllables.
Me. Say it with me.
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Clip it out.
Perfectly fine. Totally American. That's a good thing. All right.
I'm proud to be an American.
Exactly. That's it. That was my only show note. That was the only thing I had. We had a perfect episode otherwise.
Allegedly.
You know. All right, let's get into our modern retro moment, otherwise known as our "It's still real to me, damn it" moment.
God damn it.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Oh, yes.
I think I'm getting really crotchety in my old age.
Pause.
What's
Getting
wrong?
really-
What's wrong with crotchety?
Hmm.
Is there something wrong with crotchety?
No, you're
Not
fine.
crotchy. That just sounds like a problem.
Not crotchy.
That just sounds like a problem.
I don't know. It is.
You know, I got a case of the crotchy. You know, it's not really working out too well. Doc's still trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
I went in for testing.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna get back to me next week.
Damn, a whole week.
So I play games with my little guy, and we play a lot of retro games. And the other night I fixed my PlayStation 4. The disc drive wasn't working.
Was it just a laser?
No, it was the installs getting corrupted by updates.
The install is getting corrupted by updates.
So the game installs, but then there's updates that get updated from time to time on each game. Well, an update would come down, but then it would corrupt the original install. So when I try to load the disc, it would say, "We don't recognize it.
Oh.
Your game. This is not a game that you have here." But somehow it's connecting with the install file. So I have to erase the install files and then reinstall them, and now it finally works again. But that's not the problem. The problem is when your son says, "Daddy, I want to play Star Wars: The Force Awakens," which I had to hunt down for him. Finally found it. For some reason, it's not on.
It's a game?
Yeah, there's no Star Wars games. Lego Force Awakens. It's not on.
Oh.
They don't have any more Lego Star Wars games after The Force Awakens. I as of this recording, I don't know of any that have come out. But
I would not know.
The Force Awakens was the last one, the most recent one that has come out. Whoa, hello. That's the most recent one that has come out. So I was like, all right, well, let's get this game. And I'm not thinking. I'm like, all right, let's play this game. He wants to play this game. Probably going to be 5 minutes, and then he's going to get bored, and then we're going to go on to something else. And so I put it in, and of course, it's like, okay, we're installing from the disc, and it's like, okay, it's going to be 15 minutes.
Oh, you bought it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like it's going to be 15 minutes. Okay, fine.
To install it. Jeez.
So 15 minutes go by. It's like, and he's like,
Now he's done.
Daddy, is it ready? Is it ready? Yeah, just installed. Okay, let's go. Ready to play. Oh wait a minute.
Now it's got to update.
No. Now it's
got to load the
now,
install.
Then it had to. It downloaded it. Then it had to install whatever. There's 2 steps to whatever it is.
It's got to install, and then it's got to load the install.
Right. Then once it loads the install, now it says we need to get the update file.
Of course.
Which took
3.7 gigs,
which was 45 minutes estimated, between like 45 and 60 minutes. So like we're sitting here. Now he's got to go to bed.
That's what you just play. You just pop in Return of the Jedi on Super Nintendo or something.
So it's just where we've come from and what is acceptable nowadays, what people are comfortable with. It's night and day from what we had before. You wanted to play Shadows of the Empire on Nintendo 64. You pop that sucker in.
Pop that sucker in,
and immediately you're in the Hoth level, and it's you're just
no loading times.
No, lot of grease on that screen, but other than that, you know what?
You can play it.
You're smooth sailing,
like Christopher Cross.
Who's that?
Sailing takes me away where I wanna know.
We started playing Medieval on PlayStation 4. Do you remember Medieval on PlayStation 1?
Oh, I was like Medieval. I thought you were gonna say PlayStation 2 or something. I feel like I've heard the name, but I definitely never played it.
Yeah, so Medieval is a game that I actually got on Christmas morning of 1998.
It was a game you asked for?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's basically a hack and slash sort of action game that has puzzle elements. So you're like going through a graveyard, you're going through a forest, you're going through a city area, town, and you're opening doors, you're getting keys, but it's level to level. There's
keys open doors. Keys open doors.
Yeah, it's not an open world game, but it's a great game. It's a great classic PlayStation 1 game that maybe we'll talk about at some point. But the new one on PlayStation 4 is, in my opinion, is phenomenal. They did such a good job. All they took the same game code, it looks like, and they just updated the graphics, updated it to 1080p. It runs smooth.
Oh wait, so it's a remaster or it's different?
It's basically it's like a remake remaster. It's the same game, but they've updated all of the graphics to be PlayStation 4 style graphics.
So it's not like a completely new story game.
Same story, same gameplay, same. It plays exactly like the original PlayStation 1 game, but they've updated it, and I think it's awesome. I wish they would do more of that with a lot of old games. Like one of the ones that I've always wanted them to do is Mario 64. I would love to play through Mario 64 with like the Switch style graphics.
Oh, I got you.
Where they update all the character models, everything in there is updated to be new. I would play through that game again in a heartbeat. And they came out with the Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and they put it on there, and all they did is they emulated it. They emulated the 64 version.
That's what people want to play, though.
Well, they can still play the same game, but it can be with new revamped graphics.
New, hot.
I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit of a process, but it's got to be a little bit more than just emulating it. But I think that would be a little bit more fan service than just putting it on a disc or putting it on a card and then just throwing it to you and saying, "Here, play it." It's like, well, yeah, but you can get it on Virtual Console if you wanted to, or the Wii U.
Oh, wait, is the Wii U? Is it still up?
The Wii U, the eShop. Is still
oh, it is.
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. I think it's on there still.
No, I just meant like the actual service itself.
Yeah, it's up.
The eShop, like you can still buy stuff on there.
Yeah, you can still buy stuff on there. Yeah.
True, and yeah, that's pretty true. That's true, and yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's pretty true. That's pretty true. I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's fucking true. That's how it is, dude.
But nobody bought the Wii U, so I don't know if it's maybe they're just like it's not on the Switch in terms of like a virtual way to play it. So maybe this is their way of just getting it out there to the masses, but it's like, how many times have we gotten Mario 64 before? In some kind of either a compilation or on the Wii Virtual Console and then the Wii U, and then now they're doing the 3D All-Stars. It's like, when are you guys going to actually just... It was on the DS?
Yeah, I was going to say the DS, yeah.
Like, and that one, I guess, you could play multiple characters, and it had a bunch of...
I think could you play as Yoshi or something? I don't know. I've never played the one on the DS.
I think it was Yoshi, Luigi, Waluigi.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I know
Wario. Wario, I know, was in it.
I mean, I guess that's something. I don't know.
But I don't know. That's one of my favorite games of all time. You know, depending on the day of the week, it is my favorite game of all time. So that's one thing I'd like to see, is them revamp that game. You know, especially the early 3D games, like that 32-bit, 64-bit era, when you had really rudimentary graphics, very blocky. A lot of those games are still great games, but you know, it's hard for a lot of people to play those games. They can't release them in the state that they were.
I feel like they probably would have done it already if that was
they
had crossed their minds.
They did Medieval. Why would they do Medieval's a tenth of the popularity of Mario 64?
That's not Nintendo though.
Okay, but I feel like
Nintendo has so many other things.
But I feel like Nintendo is the company to go back and pay respect to their history. And I think just throwing it on there as like, well, here you go, is a little bit of a you know, it's a weak sauce attempt, in my opinion. But again, I've been looking for a revamped graphics Mario 64 for about 10 years now, and we haven't gotten it.
Hey, well, sometimes you gotta type out a nice handwritten
letter.
Maybe
a letter. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you weren't gonna say write an email. Right? You print out a piece of paper.
Just lick a stamp. Send it out to Nintendo.
You haven't had to lick stamps in for 15 years.
No, but you can do it. You know, like it's 1995 all over again. Keep it real.
Over the holidays, one game that I got, we played it last month, was Link's Awakening, the new Link's Awakening for. Speaking of revamps,
I don't play that shit.
No, I know you don't, because you know.
Wait, that's the one on the Game Boy.
It was the Game Boy game, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. So that's a game that I played a long time ago, and I actually bought the Switch version.
No, it is good. Yeah.
It's good. It's in a world of Breath of the Wild. I need something that's a little bit more. I don't know, the cutesiness of it.
Isn't that basically what you just said though?
What?
Isn't it like a remake, like updated version?
No, it was great, but it wasn't something I was looking for.
Right.
It was just they revamped it, and I thought it was good fan service to do that, and that's what I'm saying, is that they'll do that with a game like Link's Awakening, but they won't do it with Mario 64.
You
know what I mean? Like what if they did the revamped like an Ocarina of Time? Wouldn't that be a great one to do in modern graphics? Don't you think people would jump on the bandwagon to play that game? I would.
Yeah. Wait, what's the one they did? No, Wind Waker. It wasn't really like it just kind of cleaned it up, right?
Yeah, well,
that game from GameCube to Wii U. Yeah, it wasn't really that big of a deal.
The GameCube had great graphics. You know, even today, like if you go back and play a GameCube game, and that game was stylized, so it was very like cell shaded, and you know, it had that painterly, cartoonish look. So it's not really, you know, they updated it 1080p, I think. You know, they updated the resolution and all that. It wasn't
like crazy.
Well, they did a lot of cool things with the gamepad too, with, you know, using some of your weapons and things like that, and how to.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really novel with how they approached the Wind Waker. They did it for Twilight Princess. Although Twilight Princess, again, is a great-looking game to begin with, so they just kind of cleaned up the graphics a little bit. But those Nintendo 64-style games. What about the original Smash Brothers? You know, that they could throw it, they could put it on the Switch. They could probably make.
Well, I mean, there would be no point in that, since it's like the one they made has so many different levels from so many different games.
Because it's almost like Madden, the next Madden. It's like, why would you want to go back to an older one? Right?
Well, yeah, no, because that Smash Brothers Ultimate, it has like every character from every game, and it has most of the levels from other games, and they, you know, revamped them to make them look more modern. So it's you kind of like already got that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the inner workings of it go, but I feel like
Mario Kart. You know, it's like. They gathered so many different. I mean, it would be cool if they did like a Super Nintendo one.
Mario Kart 64's gameplay is different than any other Mario Kart game. So that's a great point. To revamp Mario Kart 64, I know my wife, that's her one of her favorite games. She would love to play that game. if they revamped it with modern graphics and just the same control style, even if it was updated control style. I mean, even if it was updated to what it is now. But I think Mario Kart 64 plays a little bit differently. It's got a very much more slidey mechanic, and it's
well, yeah, because they didn't really have the super power slide like they do now.
You mean to tell me that if they did Mario Kart 64 Switch, that people wouldn't be spending their like digging into their pockets to spend money to buy it? People who played that game back in the day.
Yeah, no, but I think they're waiting because they're gonna put out the 64 mini. I'm sure they're gonna put that out, so they're gonna. Obviously that would.
Is that in the works?
That would have to be. I mean, they have to be doing it. I mean, that'd have to be a game they'd put on there. Mario Kart.
It's like printing money.
Put Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64 on it.
Yeah, even the original Mario Kart.
Oh, not on the 64 mini.
Did they bring that out on the SNES mini?
I don't know. You have it, not me.
No, I don't.
Oh, you sold it?
I got rid of it. Don't like it. No good. Boom. Out of here.
I do not think that is funny. Jinx, buy me a Coke.
Another semi-modern game that we've been playing with the little guy is Time Crisis Raising Storm, which is the arcade Time Crisis, the most recent one that came out on PlayStation 3.
Damn, Raising Storm, huh?
Raising Storm, yeah. It's got a soundtrack that includes Five Finger Death Punch. Sal loves it.
Cool.
Yep. So I was saying to Sal, there's this other game called Time Crisis for the PlayStation 1. Do you want to try it? And so we started playing the original, which I haven't actually played a ton of the home port. I played it in the arcade more when we would go to like parties and stuff.
Tim Christus.
And let me tell you, first of all, he loved it. The Gun Con, the original Gun Con, might be the most accurate home gun that I've ever played with, especially considering the TV that we use here in the studio is a flat screen Wega television. So the difference between that and a curved regular old style television, the gun still works on it, but because it's flat screen,
night and day, bro.
Sometimes the corners get cut off with other guns, so you have a hard time reaching the corners. But the Gun Con, I don't know if it's because it's connected to the composite cord as it goes into the TV too. It's not just on the console. You actually have to plug it into the TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's got.
Well, how does that work then? It plugs in and then the AV can plug into that.
Yeah, and
pass through kind of thing.
There's a pass through AV, so it plugs right into the TV, and it's ridiculous how close to the pixel it will shoot wherever you are.
It has the pedal too.
So here's the thing. It doesn't have a pedal, but you can plug in either a PlayStation controller into the second slot or, get this, a steering wheel with the pedals.
Oh, pedals.
And
really?
you can gas pedal, gas pedal. You can actually step on the gas pedal or the brake pedal, and that'll bring you up and down. In and out.
On like any steering wheel combo thing?
I mean, I haven't tried all of them for PlayStation.
No, but I didn't know if it had to be like Namco had to make it or something like that.
No, I think it's whatever input you put into the second controller slot, as long as you're giving some kind of input with the brakes or the buttons, it will actually register as you pulling yourself back to hide or whatever, because of the way that game works.
Not bad.
Yeah, so we're having a lot of fun playing Time Crisis. In fact, I like playing Time Crisis more than I like playing the PlayStation 3 version. I don't know what it is with the gun peripherals, the Wii gun.
That's on the PS1.
Time Crisis 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the PlayStation 1. It was their answer to, let's say, like Virtua Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it for that. So before we get into our main event, Trent, I forgot. Dang it! I forgot to talk about pickups. So I think it'd be a good time for us to talk about pickups before we talk about the main event. What do you think?
Whoa!
So I'm gonna talk about my pick. I only have one pickup. I'm gonna talk about that I
didn't even know that one.
You didn't. No.
Now that you got it.
So
no.
we just got this in. Sal wanted to play more shooting games, and I said, you know what? It's a perfect opportunity to get some other
perfect opportunity to buy some more stuff.
Shooting games, exactly. All I got to say to his mother is, it's for Sal. It's for the kid. I mean, the kid wanted it. I mean, what do you want me to do? It's not for me.
So Sal wants to play Lunar.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, the Eternal, what is it? That's the second one, Eternal Blue? Yeah, Sal actually, he played through the first one. He wants to play the second one on Sega CD.
But that's my copy.
He actually needed the Sega CD version, and he wanted the PlayStation 1 version because he wanted to actually compare and contrast the visual differences between the first and second one.
Yeah.
And also the dialogue changes. So the game that we picked up, speaking of Time Crisis and shooting games, because of
how fitting,
because of how much fun it is to play with the GunCon controller, the game is Point Blank.
Point Blank, period.
Which is also by Namco.
Namco.
And to my knowledge, Point Blank was a arcade game from 1994, I believe.
It's like a gallery shooter.
Like a gallery shooter. It's almost like the WarioWare of shooting games.
Wario.
In fact, it says it right here on the back. It says
it's the Wario.
It says the ultimate party game. These guys look like Wario, actually.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Their names are like
heads.
Their names are like, I'm gonna botch this, but they're like Piku and Chiku.
It's like Terrence and
like
Phillip,
pretty much,
with the mustaches.
Yeah. So it's basically like boom, 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 boom with all the different galleries that you shoot through. So
Man, it's no Lethal Enforcers, but
no, because it's probably better than Lethal Enforcers. I mean, how many rubber stamp factories can you drive by, right?
Rubber stamp.
Isn't that like the second level? It's a rubber.
I know. I don't know.
It's like the background is the rubber stamp factory.
It's like 3 buildings,
and the car's just like going by it
until it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so
not paying attention to the buildings.
So I'm looking forward to that. We need a second GunCon controller, so that kind of.
Oh, I'm surprised you don't have one.
We just have one right now.
Only one.
But I see a stack over there.
Well, no, not really. I'm
gonna sit back. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy a little bit of my soda while I listen to what pickups you got there. One of them is really important to our episode today. So.
Oh yeah, I guess I should. So actually, it's funny because I went to Game Exchange and actually bought. They just had these in the case.
I can't believe you have that.
Just sitting there. Which the first one is Gunstar Heroes.
What did you get? How much did you pay for that?
So I got Gunstar Heroes was $45.
How is it $45 for it in the box?
Yeah, which is I actually think it's a couple dollars. Like it's actually probably the exact price as the just the cart loose.
Wow.
So I obviously had to my reasoning was I had it loose already.
Talk about a banger.
So I can sell my loose copy and basically. I technically get it for free because I ended up selling. I think I sold it for $40.
It's negligible.
Yeah, I sold it locally for $40. I mean, no booklet, but I mean, how often do you see Gunstar Heroes come up? In the case,
it's in the box, which is
and it's such a great game. It's a $45 game for sure. It's so good.
Have you spent a lot of time with Gunstar Heroes?
When my friend Johnny had it, and that was the first time. I remember playing it back in like when it came out.
Like the effects in this game still look amazing.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean,
it's just balls to the wall, just run and gun. The definition of run and gun.
Yeah, and some beat 'em up too elements to it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you got the 2-player co-op.
I mean, they're pulling all the tricks out of the hat with the Genesis with this game. I mean, you think about where the Genesis came from to be able to
all the colors and the.
This is a treasure game, right?
You might be right. Like it's just it's got those like that vibrant those vibrant solid colors in it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like the fire effect. It's that style in like the later Genesis.
The Genesis
games.
Isn't known for its color in games, but if there's any company that could push it to get the most out of it,
those primary colors they make them like so like vibrant.
Almost
like the solid colors,
like Dynamite Heady.
Yeah.
Like really
That's
vibrant
exactly,
colors.
Yeah.
Unbelievable! What a score, man! What a great game! That's fantastic. And it's 2-player. I mean, it's a 2-player run and gun. I mean, how many of those do you see that are worthy? They're run and gun games are a little bit further and farther between, both in quantity but also in quality.
It was just that era,
That's an awesome game.
And then the other one they had there, which is kind of what led to this episode, was Sunsetriders on the Sega Genesis.
Which you already have the Super Nintendo version.
I do, and I had never played the Genesis version.
Have you played it now?
I've played it, unfortunately, but I digress. But I mean, it's still pretty. I mean,
we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But I only
It's complete. Look at that.
$40 complete, which I think it goes for almost 100. I want to say like 80 to 90, maybe 80 to 90. Well, especially if it's got the booklet. Yeah, it goes for like 80, 90.
Another Konami.
So I literally got it for like half the price. I'm still debating on if I like want to keep it or not. I don't know yet.
Well, let's see how the episode works out, and then we'll decide.
We'll play it together and see how it.
I mean, just for the artwork alone, if you look at the case, the front case here, it's
action packed.
It's a really great case. Let's put it that way. It's a great case.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. What else? What else? What else?
Another Konami.
Yep.
And then
Konami didn't have a ton of games on the Genesis, so each one is a spectacle.
But when they did,
Yeah.
I guess we're really the only one that really matters. Is
No, you got the other one there that I'm jealous of too.
Oh well. So I was a little bidding on eBay. Luckily, it didn't go too high because this game's usually going around
two bills.
Yeah, I want to say like
at least
175.
They're listing for $2.
Yeah, the thing with like eBay now is like a lot of people are like when they put games for auction, they're like starting the bidding like at the asking, like at the going price, which is like,
that what you're saying?
Yeah, like if a game is worth like $60, they'll start the bidding at $59.99, and it's like. Like most people aren't even going to bid on it.
I'm just going to best offer somebody who's got it for 60 or best offer, right?
Yeah. I understand because they don't want to sell it for less than what it's worth, but I mean that's kind of like the point of putting up something for auction.
Correct.
You just kind of let people bid on it. But anyway,
the market speaks.
We're going back to the Jaguar. That's a different way to pronounce it, huh? Not Jaguar, but a Jaguar.
Jaguar is great because you're just it's tongue in cheek. You're not being serious.
And that is the rather rare Rayman for the Atari Jaguar,
which is where I think Rayman was originally developed before it was ported to the PlayStation and to the Saturn after.
Yeah. Yep. And I got it in last week, and I haven't even had time to pop it in and play it.
It's a great game,
but
man.
I mean,
a lot of challenge.
It is complete as well because I wouldn't get it if it didn't have the booklet, because you got to have the booklet with it. So that's another one off the list, and I actually got just did a buy it now on another game. It's whatever. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Val d'Isèr's Skiing and Snowboarding.
Val de Sons.
Val de Sons. It's like a croissant. Val croissants.
I don't know. I used to watch somebody who knows how to pronounce it because I think he's French. I'll have to check on that.
Well, whatever. I got that one, but actually I only got that for $25 with shipping or plus shipping. Which some people are asking at like $40 to start off.
So where are you at in your Jaguar conquest?
I want to say I'm up to 25. It's either 25 or 26 games
that you have in the box.
Oh no, there's like 3 games that I have that are. I mean, Trevor McFur. I only have the cart.
That can't be too difficult to find, right?
No, but it's still expensive. Brutal Sports Football, I need the box for, and then
I actually had kind of like some fun with that game.
And Alien versus Predator.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's a big one to get the box for.
How many games did they make?
Technically they're in the lifespan of the Jaguar. It's supposedly 50.
Okay.
So I'm halfway there.
If they make
halfway there. Whoa.
So, yeah, because if they make another Saturn game and they officially license it,
I know, but
I'm not getting that.
There's some that like came out like
unless I like it.
I mean, some people call it like that Skyhammer game that I got. Some people kind of
that was developed during the time period, but then it didn't come out until later.
Some people count that as like as part of the official list,
the pantheon.
But there's 50, technically 50.
50 games.
So I'm halfway there. I don't even. It's like funny that I was like, damn, there's like 20. There's actually 25 more games I still need to get. It doesn't even. It's weird.
So, and I think the 32X has about like 48 games.
Is it that? Is it that much?
40 games, something like that.
I think it's definitely less. It's got to be. It's definitely less than 50.
No, it's less than 50. I know that.
I think the 32X was around less than the Jaguar somehow.
I think it. Well, yeah, because it was December of '94
and
until
not even like is a year.
Yeah, a year and maybe a half, if that.
I mean, that's pretty much what the Jaguar was. But, you know. It's like, how quick can you get to the bottom? You know?
What are the last, like, really expensive games that you need to get?
I think the only real expensive game is Atari carts, which is probably it can go from like around 200, 250.
Are you gonna try to get?
You're gonna go for it? When you say try, I mean I'm gonna get it somehow eventually.
36 North American games.
Yeah, that's brutal. Well, I mean the Jaguar CD had 11. And like 3 of them came with the system when you bought it.
So the Jaguar's doing well.
I mean, in its afterlife, yeah, it's like Tupac.
How many posthumous albums can we actually put out?
Funny thing is, if like some company like decided to like start pumping out Jaguar systems, they'd probably sell like crazy.
I'd buy one.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but that's what I've been saying about this whole retro scene itself. Is like if these
you want to create a scene?
If these publishers would just start making more games, people would buy them.
Yeah, I don't know who owns. I don't know what. It's probably anyone could just pick up the license for the Jaguar.
For the Jaguar,
just start create like who's gonna come after you.
You could buy the license for probably next to nothing.
I mean, yeah.
Just start manufacturing boxes.
Well, they did. Well, I don't know. Remember when they sold off like the mold? I don't know how that works. Remember it was like the dentist thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they.
I've never actually seen one of those in a dentist's office.
Obviously, I mean, but I don't know if it was like a patent on the actual mold or like however that would be. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who owns it, but I mean, it's funny. I bet if they started making them, it'd probably sell more systems than
they did originally.
Yeah, just because of the fact, like just the nostalgia factor. If it was priced at like $100, you know.
I know.
What are you gonna do? Oh well.
The tangled web we weave, Trenton.
Yes, indeed. And then I just banged through. I also picked up Toy Story complete. Well, actually, no, Toy Story. I think you gave me the booklet.
Did I?
Yeah, like a while back.
I had an extra one.
Yeah. So someone posted it on Facebook.
Or did you steal the one that I have?
No, I remember you like gave me the booklet. Yeah, I stole it, in like in the middle of the night. I was like, just slipped it out of the box because that's the one thing I would take. Toy Story manual. Yeah, it was $10.
That's the Majesco model. That's the one I have.
What do you mean?
I think that's the Majesco version, the one with the. Well, actually, no. It came out so late that it could be either one.
I thought it only came in. What? There's a plastic case version?
No. You're right. It did come. It came only in the cardboard, but Majesco re-released a few of the carts, like Castlevania Bloodlines was re-released. I think Toy Story was re-released.
This came out so late. It couldn't have been re-released. It was like 90. Yeah, it came out in 95. They wouldn't have re-released it. That's when the movie came out.
No, I know.
It was like the end of the Genesis then.
But they re-released them, I think, in like 97 when Majesco made the Genesis 3.
Well, that's 90. It says 95 on it.
Right. 95, huh?
Yeah. I didn't even realize that. I thought they just made the systems.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
This might be an original one. I think mine is a Majesco version.
Are we really gonna search for it, or you got it right there?
That's right here.
Compare and contrast. Can you spot the difference? It's like a highlights magazine. Is it? Does it? Oh, yours says ballistic, right?
Yep. So this is.
Oh, I think it is. It's like a highlights magazine. Can you spot the difference?
Yeah. So I think mine, and I think the cart is a little bit rougher too.
What a world we live in. See, you got your manual in. You have a manual in there.
Yeah, I guess I do.
It's good pod.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that Majesco did re-release.
Oh yeah, yours says that's the ballistic logo on it.
Yeah, published by Ballistic.
Huh. What a weird world.
Because like this Castlevania Bloodlines that originally was in a regular plastic case, and then when it was re-released by Majesco, distributed by Majesco Sales.
Huh. Huh.
So they re-released it in the cardboard shell.
They like get the license from Konami or
Yeah,
something?
they were allowed to.
Oh wait, this isn't even a. Oh no, well this is not a Genesis style case where it slips.
So the Genesis actually had a bunch of different ones. They had.
This is like an NES game.
So they did different ones. They did ones where they had just the outside,
what a wild world.
outside case. They had ones where they were a flip top. Sega was just off their rocker towards the end.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, it was a Wild West type of thing. So
interesting.
Speaking of Konami,
yeah.
Go ahead. What else you got?
The Bloodlines. Actually, I just picked this up the other day, which is Sonic and Knuckles complete for $18. Believe it or not. And that's a solid pickup. This is one of the first game I had on the Genesis.
It's funny that it's the first game you had on the Genesis when it's one of the later.
Yeah, because I got the Genesis late. Then I remember getting it, I think, for Christmas with the system. My aunt got me Sonic and Knuckles.
I mean, it's a visual spectacle. Sonic and Knuckles.
Just the lock-on feature.
Did you go back and get Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 to put in there?
I think the system I had came with Sonic 2.
Oh, did it?
I think so.
Oh, all right.
I mean, I did because I definitely had Sonic 2.
So you played as Knuckles and Sonic 2?
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
That was like blew my mind.
Yeah,
that you
could
play
right?
Sonic.
You
Sonic
like climbing
2.
on the walls and shit.
Yeah, you could just coast through the whole level.
It's just weird. It seems like it's for some reason it seems like Sega Genesis games are, I don't know, just more prevalent, or they just I barely see any Super Nintendo games out ever
Super Nintendo
that I need, or you know.
Oh, I see. Well, because it's all about the Genesis, baby.
It kind of is, you know. And then just the last one just was on Facebook Marketplace. Some guy listed this one for $30. He was actually
love the black box Genesis.
He was
games,
actually
man.
in town. I offered him $20, and he dropped it off for me. $20, hand delivered, like Domino's, baby.
I believe that's the first 8 megabit Genesis game.
I mean, they wanted to tell you. They put the seal of quality right on, and that is a Strider for the Genesis with the manual complete.
It was a divisive game in its time.
Divisive, some may say as well.
Again, that's the British.
Loves damn Brits.
Nope. Because a lot of people were wowed by the 8 megs and this arcade masterpiece, and the gameplay was right, but there were other people that just Strider kind of turns off. Like they don't really, it doesn't grip them, the gameplay, and I fall a little bit into that camp. That it's a hard game to really get kind of like a cadence and get comfortable with. I have a hard time kind of sinking my teeth into it.
I've honestly never even played it,
but I still want it. Like I
love it. I long for it.
It's a side-scrolling action game with large sprites. It's a game that I grew up watching at my buddy Matt's house, and so it's one that I do want to get in the collection.
I mean, it's not like it's not like an expensive game.
No, but there's a lot of games out there, So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, meaning the ones that that come across my way that I want to play and get.
You come my way, boy.
So. All right. Well, with that said, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back to discuss Sunsetriders. Stay tuned for a word from our sponsor.
Blue Chew.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Mighty Max, Mighty Max.
It's Mighty Max.
Welcome to Skull Dungeon.
Wow!
Mighty Max.
Smasher, get up! Your brain donor is here. Me want brain. No way, slime face. Whoa! Watch out for that first step. It's not over, Mighty Max.
Will Max get fried? His fate is in your hands. Mighty Max, Mighty Max. You can collect all his adventure sets, each sold separately. Mighty Max figure included from Mattel.
Royal Rumble, like on the Genesis, were there any characters that were
like different? They just
like,
palette swaps, kind of.
They
like
just
kind of
like
head.
shrunk them into the same.
Yeah, I think most of them are pretty much like the same body.
Like Bam Bam Bigelow or something like that.
Like Psycho Sid looked exactly like Razor Ramon. I mean, they just had the same body. They just switched like the color of the trunks and the hair. Yeah, it was fine. No one cared. Good stuff.
I forget who the developer was for that.
Flying Edge on the Sega.
Real Time Associates, the law firm.
Real Time Associates. Marquis Solomon and Morelli published it.
Brought to you by Trantolo and Trantolo.
Yeah, Carter and Mario.
Nobody outside of Connecticut knows who we're talking about. All right, so we're back, everybody, and we played the two versions of Sunset Riders, the home console ports. So we'll give you a little bit of backstory on Sunset Riders, just a touch. But really, Sunset Riders is a 1991 arcade game,
the golden era,
which came out after TMNT 4, Turtles in Time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, on pretty much the same arcade platform from Konami.
It's funny because I don't even know if I've never seen
a Sunset Riders
arcade.
I haven't. No, I haven't either. It was definitely lesser known than the Turtles, obviously, because the Turtles are the Turtles.
Yeah. The fucking Turtles.
but a lot of what came with Sunset Riders was something that they built on from the Turtles games that they had that came before that. So,
of course, but made its own unique flavor.
So it's quite literally a side-scrolling run-and-gun game. It's a single-plane game. So it's not where Turtles in Time is sort of in or out of the screen. There's like
you can go in the foreground, the background,
more three-dimensional motion. It's not like there's even planes. It's you can move wherever you want to in sort of a 3D space. Sunset Riders is more side to side, almost like Two Crude Dudes or something like that.
Yeah, you're going. You're like you can jump up to like the second floor on the buildings, kind of. So I mean, in that way, it's
Sunset
separates
Riders,
it from that.
I have it lower on here, but we might as well just talk about it. So Sunset Riders gets a lot of its gameplay influence, obviously from Turtles in Time or Turtles the arcade game, but then it steals that Shinobi Rolling Thunder, two different vertical planes where you can jump to another floor or back down to another floor, and you're going from side to side, left to right on a single plane. So they kind of steal that mechanic straight out of those games, which came out 5, 6, 7 years before this game even existed. The Genesis port came out in 92, and then the Super Nintendo port came out in 1993. It stars
have the weight.
Yeah, it stars 3 blonde white guys and a Mexican. Steve, Billy, Cormano, and Bob. I'll let you figure out which one is
which
not the white.
One of these things is not like the other.
They're literally three blonde white guys. It's like, how do you differentiate from the two? Like, couldn't they throw it in like a
I mean,
a guy with black hair?
Cowboys. Yeah, I mean they could have. Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, why couldn't they put in like an American Indian? Make another.
Call him up.
We should call Konami and see what they can do about that. Maybe for the re-release.
Was it Billy's? His favorite food and drink was
vegetable coffee.
Vegetable and coffee.
I think vegetable coffee sounds better.
Well, no, because it said his favorite food and his favorite drink.
Right.
What any vegetable.
Vegetable. It's that English coming through. Favorite food, vegetable.
What the fuck?
Favorite food, carbohydrates.
Get to know your riders.
The presentation of Sunset Riders is actually really thoughtful, and it pays homage to
homage.
Notice I didn't say homage. It pays homage to
homage, respect.
Western cartoons, TV shows that came out in the 50s, 60s, and the 70s.
What is it, like a Zorro?
So, like the sun, like that sepia sort of like, the sun is in the background type of thing. That sort of comes from, I was looking at stuff from the Lone Ranger on like the Lone
Ranger. That's what I was thinking.
The Lone Ranger theme for the cartoon. You see the big sun, and you have that, but then it also has.
Yeah, and if you're not really familiar with that, just picture Hey Dude with pistols.
Yeah, because everybody knows Hey Dude.
It's a little wild and a little strange when you make it home right on the range. So you grab your horse and come along. You can't get it right if you can't hold on. Singing yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay. What? Like the cowboys said, singing together. Yippee-ki-yay. Until the break of day.
Look out for them killer cacti. Hey, dude. You're welcome. Also Bonanza. So Bonanza was a show.
Bonanza? Wasn't that a restaurant?
No, it was, but it was also a Western TV show that was around for like 15 years. And when it ended, or when the theme ended or whatever, beginning or end, you'd had the 4 riders and they would ride off. And it kind of calls that back when you see the beginning intro of Sunsetriders. You have the 4 guys on their 4 steeds
into the sunset,
driving into the sunset. So they did their research when it came to developing and kind of working around what came before, and a lot of their influence comes from that material back in the day. I mean, it has
what was
to be.
God, why can't I think of his name? Like the famous
John Wayne?
John Wayne, yeah. That's what I was like, why can't I think of his name?
There's a boss, the second boss in the game, in the Super Nintendo version and the arcade version, and his first line when you fight him, he says, "Draw, Pilgrim."
Yeah.
And that comes straight out of John Wayne. John Wayne's used the "Hey, Pilgrim."
Yeah.
In a lot of his movies, especially the westerns. So
it's too bad they didn't like quote Eminem like "You gonna die, honky." You know, ahead of his time.
Even in '91, I don't know if that would have made it in the game.
You just have like your Bob, and then the boss just comes out. "You're gonna die, honky."
It's plausible.
Yeah,
it's plausible.
Yeah.
I love the music in the intro. I mean,
it's
like a Western Mexican horn type of thing there's a very, I don't know how to say it, a very Spanish Mexican sort of tune.
No, I got you. I understand.
That plays in that intro, and it makes you feel in that you're in that setting. You know.
All the music in the Super Nintendo version
it's top notch.
It is.
It's top notch. It pays respect to that source material, but it also sort of remolds it into something that is more tongue-in-cheek and cartoonish. But most importantly, it wraps it up into something that is just a damn fine classic video game. Just a pick up and play, something that instantly, when you pick up the controller, you get it right away.
You could even
you just get it. You know what you have to do. The controls are solid and fluid, and they feel good, and it just makes for a really good time.
You could say that, as you would say, the progenitor of this would even be, you could consider a Gunsmoke for the Nintendo.
Right.
I have that. It's on page 3. You know, you're fucking this whole thing up. I have it written down.
So the 3 games that I said influenced this game were TMNT, Rolling Thunder, and Gunsmoke.
Oh, nice.
So Gunsmoke was a vertically scrolling shooting game that was made by Capcom. Basically was the start of what would become the Red Dead series, because they got their inspiration from that. And I'm wondering if you have to think that Sunsetriders takes some influence from Gunsmoke. The spread gun mechanic where you're going up. And
but like every,
left and right.
A lot of games had the spread gun. I mean, it.
But the flair of that game.
No, I understand that you could take
the essence of that game.
The influence from Gunsmoke, but I mean, it is all cliche cowboy stuff. You know, you got the boss, you get a reward for taking out the boss.
But
and stuff
Gunsmoke was
like
a popular game. I mean, it was
dude,
a game
I love that game.
It did well on Nintendo. I think you owned it, didn't you, when you were a kid?
It's still. Oh no, I didn't own it, but I had rented it. Yeah,
experience with it. So you have to think that Konami saw that game and said, "This was successful. We want to remold the TMNT engine into something that can play this style of a game." And they were really successful in doing that. But I think when you look at those 3 games, Rolling Thunder, Shinobi, Gunsmoke, and TMNT, you add that all up, and I think you get Sunsetriders.
Add that shit up.
You know?
I agree. You're not wrong.
So it does invoke memories of TMNT. I mean, the sprite work, all of, the music, the tones, the animations, they all are, I mean, they kind of rip a lot of that stuff in terms of the way that they made that game, and they just put it into TMNT. Where TMNT, but the difference between this game and TMNT is where TMNT is all about positioning so that you don't get yourself into a position where you're between 2 characters, where you're getting double teamed by a bunch of guys. This is more positioning yourself so that you are making sure that you're
bullets.
You're getting rid of the enemies dodging bullets and actually trying to avoid bullets by even shooting them before they can actually shoot you.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of memorization of replay in this game, of knowing how do you position yourself on the screen so that you can, first of all, be ready to dodge a shot, but also be able to shoot guys before they even have a chance to shoot you. So,
which varies from which version you're playing. Correct.
Yes. But if we talk about the arcade version first, that's what you get with that game. It's got.
Do you know how? I didn't even look up footage of the arcade one. Is it? It has to be more like the Super Nintendo version. Does it have the slow bullets?
Yeah. So the Super Nintendo version would be considered the more faithful version to the arcade. The arcade. There's some differences between the Super Nintendo and the arcade. First of all, the resolution is less on the Super Nintendo, so it looks a little bit more chunky than the arcade does. But in terms of the bullets and how they travel and a lot of that, it's
you wouldn't think that would be
it's very much the same.
A big factor, but it is, especially the way they did it in both games.
Yeah. The game in general has the same great animation as, like, let's say TMNT. They've got like the gun is cocking. The guy, once he beats a boss, he throws the guns. He flips him, throws him into his holsters. The screen flashing with all the dynamite flares and the explosions. The facial and body animations, like when you go into a saloon and you get some kind of power up. The guy's smiling and then he gets serious again and goes back into it, or his poncho flies up, or there's a lot of those little things. When you shoot a guy, how he lands and how he falls, it makes it feel like you're more immersed in that gameplay than if you're just a guy blinking off screen.
Yeah, like if you shoot him from if you're on like the ground and you're shooting him on like the floor above, they kind of like fall over. Like that's like the cliche thing when you would shoot someone in like a western, they'd fall over the
railing.
The railing, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. That's and so they took the time and the care to put that in, not only in the arcade version, but the home ports as well.
Yeah, then when you in the Super Nintendo version, when you shoot them, they actually make a sound. They're like, oh,
So it's hard. I know it's hard not to compare these while we're talking about this, but it's okay that we're doing that. So the Genesis version doesn't have the voices, whereas the Super Nintendo version, you get all of that. So that
it like makes the game.
That bakes itself into the experience to have those voices in there, whereas the Genesis one didn't. The Genesis one did come out a year before that. But by and large, this game on the whole has very vibrantly colored characters, and a lot of the pieces in the game are just so they pop with color.
Oh yeah.
Not so much the backgrounds or the buildings, but when you look at even the bullets glow.
Yeah.
The bullets glow, the fires going up.
The
colors of the characters, like what they're wearing, all of that, it's just like pops in your face.
I'm trying to think of what like that glowing bullet. For some reason, I just associate that with like Super Nintendo games. I don't know what other games.
It's a very arcadey thing to have like a glowing
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. It's like that. Yeah, it's like that. It's like pink and purple. Like,
a lot of shooters have that.
Maybe that's why I'm thinking. It just seems like such a Super Nintendo thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, maybe you're thinking of some Super Nintendo shooters. I mean, even Genesis shooters have a lot of like flashing, glowing bullets all over the screen. So
just weird. And then
but this is like a cousin to a shooter, though.
Yeah. Are we gonna compare?
The
shooting element of this one to the Genesis one?
We're gonna get there.
Okay.
I was talking about the animation, talking about the bulls running, the animation of that, the kicking up of the dust, the barrels falling. So it's very much a mid-level or mid-time frame 16-bit generation game, as opposed to, let's say, an earlier generation 16-bit game. The train level that you have, the second level is a train level in Sunsetriders, and it reminds me of the Turtles in Time, Bury Your Shell at Wounded Knee.
Yeah.
It's almost like they ripped that right out of Turtles in Time and said, we have to have this in this Western.
Yeah, it's that cliche beat 'em up thing, like the elevator level.
Right. You gotta have you gotta have a train level and
some kind of moving level,
Yeah. So the Super Nintendo version, if we can get into the differences.
Oh, yes.
The Super Nintendo version is there's 4 playable characters, as we mentioned before, but you can it's a 2-player game, so you can actually there's 2 guys at the same time that can play. You can't have 4-player. The arcade version had a 4-player mechanic.
Damn, imagine playing that 4-player on this one.
Insane.
I mean,
almost 2 insane.
That'd be the same thing.
For the arcade version, I think it's great, but for a home.
I mean, you're saying that with. I mean, you could say the same thing for like any. Like Turtles in Time, like imagine playing that with 4 people.
Well, the arcade version is.
No, I'm talking about on the Super Nintendo.
No.
Yeah.
It'd be a little.
I feel like
it's easy enough.
I feel like 4-player wouldn't work for this one. Like I think 2-player is perfect.
I mean, let's be honest. 99% of the time, you're going to play with just one other person.
Well, I'm just like thinking 4-player because it's not like you said. It doesn't play like Turtles in Time where you're in the background and foreground.
Too many bullets.
There's like no. There's literally like no. There would be like no room for you to like walk around. You know, all your characters would be taking up like the whole screen.
You wouldn't know which shots were coming at you.
Bullets everywhere.
Yeah, so I think that was probably a smart decision. Either I don't know if the Super Nintendo could handle 4 players on screen at the same time, but not without sacrificing the amount of enemies on screen. So the resolution is lower, obviously, for the Super Nintendo version. We've talked about the Super Nintendo resolution in the past and how it was less than even.
Are you saying
Genesis.
just lower as compared to the arcade version?
Definitely, but even compared to the Genesis version.
That ain't true! That's not true! So get your facts straight.
Well,
it's a low
I mean, maybe
resolution.
it is, but I think it looks way better on the Super Nintendo version.
There is quite a bit of censorship in the Super Nintendo version, like the scantily clad women, at least for 1993. We're not in
dresses.
It. Yeah, there is one scene where they're dancing for you in a saloon, and they're wearing dresses, but
it's not really. I don't really consider that like a flaw or an issue.
Well, when you're talking about the original arcade game,
I know.
I mean, but there was also drinking of like vodka bottles in the original arcade version, which is not in the Genesis version. But it keeps the animation. It's faithful to that arcade experience. It has the speech. It has the color. In some cases, it expands on it. Like there's some fire effects that have transparencies in some of the later levels
like that
the arcade version doesn't have.
Why does it? I feel like it reminds me of like a Castlevania or Contra or something. When you're in that bar where you're hanging on the chandelier and the guys throwing those like Molotov cocktails at you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think in the last level, there's an area where you have to sort of ride a rope across this area that has fire underneath it.
Yeah.
And
actually, I don't even think that's a lot. That might be in a different. I've actually played that. I don't know if it was the last level or not, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so you have to actually ride over that or shimmy yourself over it, and there's actually transparent fire underneath you, which is actually for a 16-bit console is actually really impressive. So they expanded on that a bit.
But like I don't know if you're gonna mention it again, but like the voiceover, like just the voices. It's like it just makes it just a better game overall experience.
It immerses you. It immerses you in the game
because those are like the things you remember in the game,
right?
Like the bury me with my body.
That is such a classic line,
and then
especially the way he says it.
Yeah, then like the Native American is like, "You in heap big trouble."
Yes, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, doesn't he say like me in trouble now or something?
Oh yeah, like when you kill him. Yeah. I think he says like
you don't kill him. You don't kill him. His woman saves him.
Me in heap big trouble.
Me in heap big trouble. Yeah.
It's time to pay.
That's beautiful.
Like it's so good.
It plays almost identically to the arcade version, and that's the most important thing. Is that the gameplay is there, the speech is there, the animations are there.
But I mean, if you're, I mean, who's played the arcade version? You know.
We're just purely comparing.
No, I know, but I mean, if you've never played the arcade
Super Nintendo
version.
version's great. Relax, it's fine. We're gonna be okay. All right,
we're gonna get there.
You're gonna get what you want. All right. The Super Nintendo is very, very competent in an era where Genesis does. Right.
I agree.
Nintendo one-ups them in this regard.
Nintendo does.
So the Genesis version, it's 2 available characters, Billy and Cormano.
It's a fuck bag, is what it is.
It's still 2 players, so you can play 2 players at the same time.
You gotta like switch controllers if you want to pick the other person.
The Genesis game is good compared to other Genesis games. It's good.
You're trying to trying to rationalize the game.
I'm not rationalizing anything compared to all Genesis games. It's a good game.
I just don't understand.
If this Genesis game existed in a vacuum and there was no other version, you'd say this is a good game. We're comparing it to these other versions, but I'm just saying that
if Last Battle was the only game on the Sega Genesis,
right.
So why? I just don't. It's one of those games where it's just like what the fuck, really? Because it's just why? What would be the reason for taking out the 2 characters?
Well,
I mean, you can't say they didn't have enough memory or they couldn't handle it.
Yes, they actually
for 2 characters that 3 of them are pretty much the same sprite. They're just different colors.
I don't know the answer to that, but all I know is that at the time, one of the main concerns about the game was that it was only a 4 megabit cartridge in an era when every game was 8 megs or higher. So they reduced the amount of memory, and maybe this is because this was Konami's first effort on the Genesis, but they reduced the levels. There's only 4 bosses when the other versions have 7 or 8.
Yeah, no,
So
weird.
they recycle a lot of assets. It's the Genesis version is my next line. The Genesis version is gimped.
That's my line.
It's
Wow! That's my line! 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 Come on! Come on! We're stealing that's Flair's line. He's called about 10 of Flair's lines. That's my line! That's my line!
I'll prove it.
It's my line!
gimped comparative to the Super Nintendo and arcade versions. The gameplay is there, but there's only, like I said, there's only the 4 bosses. The colors are muted. There's no voices. It does keep the girls, which I appreciate. But the cart size was cut in half. So I mean that has to be somewhat of the culprit. It doesn't have, to use a big word, Trent. It doesn't have.
Here we go.
It doesn't have the panache.
Whoa.
Or the pizzazz and the effects that the other versions have.
The panache.
Although I did notice that the intro has some line scrolling on the sun that the Super Nintendo version doesn't have. So
shit! There he is. The
sun,
better version.
The sun ripples and almost like a haze.
It's like a heat wave.
It's like a heat wave.
Well, that's it.
But
it's better.
So here's the thing. So what they did with the Genesis version, because they knew they couldn't put in as many levels, as they made the game more difficult. They made it harder. They made the bullets travel faster, and they made
not a fan.
They made it just harder to get through the game because they wanted to add the replay value so that it would take longer for you to get through the game. And in 1992, who knows better, right? And there's no Super Nintendo version at the time, so they wanted to increase the length of the game. They made it harder. That actually served to hurt it. And I don't think that even if this game was an 8 meg game, and they had all the levels and they had all the bosses,
if the gameplay was the same,
it's still not as good.
It's definitely. It's just. There's something off about it.
The bullets are all red. They're large. The bullets look like they're twice the size of the Super Nintendo bullets, and they travel
twice the speed.
They travel 3 times as fast.
And you also notice. I mean, maybe I'll bring it up, but for some reason, like the characters will come from the left side of the screen, and they're just running in, and they'll just stab you, and
right. It's sometimes you don't even know what hit you. You're like, what happened right there? Where the Super Nintendo feels like a more approachable challenge. It feels like something that's fun to get into. Like when you play Turtles in Time, I mean, we've played it a million times, but I'm sure we probably beat it the first time we played it too. It's like you can just get into that game and have a blast.
I mean, Sunset. I mean, once you get into it's more in the Super Nintendo version. I don't know about the Sega version because I haven't played it all the way through, but some of the boss battles can. It's kind of like Turtles, the Turtles, Turtles in Time, where some of the boss battles can get pretty rough. Yeah. You have to you kind of have to memorize the pattern, especially on the Native American guy.
It's still not easy.
He'll throw the knives. It's like you got to get under them.
Either you have to go right in between them, or you have to slide away from them at the same time.
Yeah.
And he'll slash at you if you get too close to him. So
yeah, but the rest of in terms of the other levels, it's not too difficult. It's really the boss battles that where they up the difficulty and
right. You mean in the Super Nintendo version?
Yeah, in the Super Nintendo version.
It's almost like it reminds me of a treasure game. Talking about the Gunstar Heroes, where there's a short level and then there's a boss, and you really have to worry about more of the boss than you do the actual other parts. Of the level.
It is it is like a memorization kind of game because you kind of remember where enemies are coming out of which windows and you know what I mean.
One of the things that kind of annoy me is that some of the animation we talked about that got cut. Like in the Super Nintendo, when you're on the bulls, the guys are running like this.
Oh yeah, you can't in the Genesis version you can't run on them.
They're just like walking, like they're on the boardwalk, and it's just like you're on a bull. Like you're not.
And you'll die. You can't run on them. You can only walk. So you'll just get.
But they just like the walking animation is just the same as like you're walking down the street. Whereas in the Super Nintendo one, that's like they're like hustling.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, because remember you tried and you just fell in between the bulls and you died.
Right.
So you technically really can't even walk on them. You have to like jump on one and jump onto the
which
next.
is different than the arcade version. The arcade version, you got bulls tip to tip, and and you're able to run across a bunch of bulls at the same time. So.
It's kind of like a throwaway thing, but it's still like kind of cool.
But that's a perfect example of when you add up all of those little.
No,
pieces,
I know, I understand.
Again, it's almost like the little pieces that seal up the cracks in a game. The Genesis doesn't have them. The Super Nintendo does, and that's the big difference between the two. And that honestly, that's what makes either a decent game or a phenomenal game.
And then
when you really kind of work on the engine to make the playability that much better. And then the animation and the speech and all that other stuff, that's just the icing on the cake. That's what immerses you in the world that you're in already.
And I don't know if it's weird. I don't know if they did it on purpose or they took they clearly took the idea from Sonic in the Genesis version of the game where you can shoot the guys and you get the coins, and then if you get hit, like coins will come out of you, but they don't really technically do anything except for a high score. It's not like you have coins and
you get an extra life if
you get hit and you can grab the coin again and you can still get hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like as the rings in Sonic. They must have took that idea from Sonic, but I don't know why.
I just wonder if they really took it from Sonic because that game came out in late 1991. So
you're saying the arcade was already at the arcade, but I don't even.
Would they have had enough time to put that in from June of 1991?
Well, I think so. I don't know. I'm not sure, but
maybe
they threw it in because it doesn't. It seems like a half-assed idea because it doesn't really.
It doesn't really do anything.
Just
takes away from your score.
Yeah, it's like negative 1,000 when you get hit.
And so, and kind of finishing up with the Genesis version, it feels more like a transitional Genesis game as opposed to a middle of the timeline Genesis game. 1992 is really the midpoint of the Genesis cycle. So when you live in a world where Sonic the Hedgehog exists, and you make a game like Sunsetriders on the Genesis, which looks like it could be like a early generation game, like a 1989 or a 1990 game.
Yeah,
it's hard to go back to that and say I'm gonna enjoy this game when there's games like Sonic the Hedgehog that are way more colorful and fluid and not that Sonic is a run and gun shooter, but you know what I'm saying. It's like you're almost taking a step back when you play that game compared to what came before it. So, like I said, even if those other levels were there, I don't know if it would quite measure up.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't matter because if it's not fun to play, then you can have 3 levels, you can have 9 levels.
I mean, it's not to say that you can't have fun with it, right? I mean, if you play that game enough and you get down the cadence of where things are, but it's just kind of brutal. And
yeah, I was gonna say I was trying to think of as its own, the Genesis version as its own game. I don't know. It's hard to say because I've played the Super Nintendo version so much. Like I don't know if I could say the Genesis version as a standalone game. If the Super Nintendo version didn't exist, if it would still be considered a good game. The Genesis version, if the Super Nintendo version didn't exist.
No, I'll tell you right now, if the Super Nintendo version didn't exist, we would not be talking about the Genesis version as much as we do. The only reason we talk about the Genesis game as much as we do, I think, is because there's another version that came out that was really successful, which is the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would just be another middle of the pack. It'd be Shadow Blasters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
It wouldn't be anything to write home about.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing to write home about.
I mean, that was the first time when I got it last week was the first time I've ever played it on the Genesis.
Oh, you didn't know that this has been like a GIMP port for a long time?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so because I just remember.
What a letdown! Jeez.
Yeah, no, I turned it on. I was like, what the fuck? There's like 2 characters? I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
That being said, I probably would have bought it for $40 though.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's. Well, I mean,
at least
whatever. We could just say it now.
At least to play.
I was just gonna say it now. It's definitely not. There's no way I would, unless you're going for a complete collection. There's really no reason to own this. Like especially because it's like
get the Super Nintendo version.
It's like $80-$90 complete for the Genesis.
How much is the Super Nintendo one?
I don't know. I should have looked, but you know what? I saw. It's funny because I was playing the Genesis version when I got it, and then I went on Facebook and someone is in a video game group on Facebook and is selling just a loose copy of Sunsetriders on Super Nintendo for $70. So I think it's around.
That doesn't sound like a bad price.
I think it's around $60, $70 just for the cart, on the Super Nintendo.
Do you think that Sunsetriders on Super Nintendo is a $70 is worth $70 to play it?
I say yes because I've had it for over 20 years and it just can always play it. It's it is like Turtle. It's a Turtles in Time game where no matter how many times you've played it, it doesn't lose its charm. It's still just it's just as fun as when I originally played it. I actually think I enjoy it now more than when I first played it.
Well, I don't think there are any accidents. So let me kind of give you my perspective on the Genesis version.
Accidents?
Because this was most likely the first game Konami produced on the Genesis, actually developed on the Genesis. So I think it was
give them a little bit of a pass.
Well, Konami, yeah, sure, but I think it was their proving ground. It was their way to work out the kinks of Genesis development because they had been a Nintendo developer all the way back to the NES.
Kind of sucks it had to be this game, Could have been some other
right. but then think of this though. If the mistakes that they made on this game made all the other games that they made better, then that makes this game important. It makes it important for being the sort of the guinea pig at least.
Yeah, because I guess the Hyperstone Heist is still a good game.
Hyperstone Heist is awesome.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's a great game. But when you think about Rocket Knight Adventures, Castlevania, Contra Hardcore, TMNT, even Tiny Toons, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, all these games might have been better for what they learned about the Genesis hardware by working on Sunsetriders. So in that way, you can kind of look at it and say, well, this game has its place for a good reason, and that's because it helped Konami get its grips so that it could make all these other awesome games. So, does that make it worthy for you to want to keep it in your Genesis library? I don't think so.
No.
But it's important for that aspect itself because Capcom, Konami, these are companies that before this era they were not working with Sega, and so this game was almost like the
Sega didn't really.
Right.
They existed, but not really.
Right, exactly until the Genesis.
The Master System.
So it's a classic through and through. We never got a sequel, not that I know of, at least.
I don't even know if they've ever
for Sunsetriders, but
have they ever even ported it on a virtual console or Xbox Live
that's a good question.
PlayStation Network? I don't think so.
It's a fabulous title, especially the Super Nintendo version. I think they really hit it out of the park with that. They did an awesome job with. What's funny is that the arcade platform that they made it on is more like the Genesis than it is the Super Nintendo because of the processor in there, the 68000 Motorola, which is the same one in the CPS arcade platform.
Oh.
And the Super Nintendo doesn't use anything like that. So it's just there's no good reason why they couldn't have made a good version on the Genesis. But again, they never used the Genesis before. They probably had a short timeline to get it on there when they decided, you know what, all right, we are going to develop for this platform. They are here to stay. And maybe they rushed it out the door,
Yeah.
Which the Super Nintendo, they had a little bit more time to develop it.
Yeah, they kind of they literally got everything right on the Super Nintendo version, as in the Sega version. They pretty much did, I don't want to say everything wrong, but everything not
great. Enough things right.
Yeah.
Not enough things right. The core of the gameplay is there. The characters move okay, but everything...
It literally plays completely... completely different.
It's almost like a reimagining of the game because it's not really the same game.
With an all-male cast.
All-male cast? Like Glenn, Gary, Glenn Ross? Like that?
Like Glenn and Gary suck Ross's meaty cock and drop their hairy nuts in his eager mouth.
Yeah. Pretty much. All-male cast. So let's talk about memories of this game. You know what my memories are of this?
That's kind of what
I never played this game when I was a kid. I never saw it in an arcade. I never played it on Super Nintendo. It wasn't until it wasn't until much later that I actually became acquainted with this game. So it's not in my memory banks. But tell me more, Trenton, about what you remember of playing this game when you were a kid.
Well, I kind of touched on it a little bit. I'm pretty sure I bought it myself with my own money I earned.
Oh my gosh!
I think it was probably
$70 at KB Toys.
No, it was probably. I think it was like birthday money because I definitely remember going to KB, and it was if you were in the KB where we were, if you were like up at the front at the register, like to the left side, like you could actually grab some of the games. They weren't like directly behind the register, it was I think it was actually there, because those were the ones on like the left side, towards the outer side of the register,
where you could still walk up to.
Were the ones like that were like kind of like the cheaper games.
Yeah.
Like either. So I definitely remember buying it.
That's where they had the Jaguar games when they were clearancing them.
I definitely remember.
It was
buying
like on a little pegboard.
And there's no way I spent $60 on it. So it must have been. When did the Super Nintendo one come out?
93.
93. Man, it must have been after. I'm pretty sure I got it for like
middle of 93.
I'm pretty sure I bought it for like $30 or something.
Could have been on sale.
Yeah, and I think it was just like the red line through it, and it was like $30 or something like that.
They were clearancing them.
It was weird because I it's funny because I don't remember like.
Do you remember why you bought it?
That's what I was trying to say. Like I don't remember like. I mean, I was what, 8 or 9.
Your monthly trek down to the mall, and just like the excitement of, I have the opportunity to get a new game, and I bet you went down there and didn't even know what you were gonna get. Yeah,
like the only thing I think of is I had Turtles in Time, because that's the game I got with the Super Nintendo.
So this must have been like April or May.
It probably was, because my birthday was in March, and I would get like you get your birthday money from like everyone, so I probably had some money that my mom let me use.
Mom was going down to Strawberries to get a Michael Bolton CD.
No, I don't think so.
No,
not a Michael. There was no Michael Bolton. Maybe like a Sade album.
Oh, there you go.
Like the cassette.
Michael Jackson's Dangerous album.
Leave me alone.
I had the tape.
Leave me alone.
My friend Josh Narkowitz gave it to me for my birthday when I was in first grade.
Dangerous.
It's a good song.
Wait, did that have Jam on it? Jam, do my thing, do how much for me? Jam.
I can't remember. That's a good question. Important question.
You know, it probably was like April or May though. But the only thing I could think of, even though I don't know how I would associate that, is that obviously the Ninja Turtles game was made by Konami. This is made by Konami. That's the only thing I can think of. Or maybe
it kind of looked like it.
Or maybe I just saw the box and the screenshots. I mean, half of the games you would get would just be based on the cover art, or just like the screenshots on the back. You're like, oh my god, this game looks.
The cover art looks amazing.
Yeah, and like the screenshots of the game looks awesome. That's the only thing I can think of, because I'm pretty sure it was. I don't remember reading video game magazines. I mean, it was, but I have no recollection of like seeing the game in like Game Pro or something like that.
Pure intuition.
It must have been.
So you brought it home and you're like, I made the right choice.
Yeah, it wasn't like I bought the Bulls versus Blazers and was
in the NBA playoffs,
and I would just play it just because I had it, and it was the only basketball game I had. It was the fucking slowest moving game ever.
we played a lot of that.
Like
back
I tried to enjoy it.
We played a lot of Bulls versus Blazers in the NBA playoffs. You would just have to go across the key and hit the shoot button, and you would dunk every single time.
It was like the slowest animation dunks.
Yeah, you'd hear the squeaks of the shoes though.
Oh yeah.
It was more realistic.
And then when there'd be like 2 seconds left, you hear like the coach be like, "Shoot it!" The ball just looked like a Whopper, like the chocolate covered Whopper. It was just like a brown circle.
Yeah.
It didn't even have the lines on it like a basketball. It was just a brown circle. It's like a fucking potato.
That parquet floor of the Boston Celtics.
Oh jeez. Now I actually kind of want to play it just to see like how bad it is.
I don't know if I have a copy. Do you have a copy?
I don't know.
Do you get Team USA basketball?
I think it plays. I probably plays different on the Genesis than it does the Super Nintendo. That'll be the next episode.
Bulls versus Blazers in the NBA playoffs.
Isn't it different on the Super? Like with the Sega version, it's like Bulls or like Celtics.
There's Bulls versus there's Celtics versus Lakers, I think, in the NBA playoffs, and then there's Bulls versus Blazers in the NBA playoffs.
Blazers, huh? I can't believe the Blazers got the Trailblazers got.
I remember when they got to the finals.
Got a cover.
Well, they were on the finals.
Yeah, I know.
They were in the finals. Clyde the Glide.
Yeah.
Drexler. Terry Porter.
Chris Mullin.
Nope,
no, I know he's not on the Blazers. I know that.
Yeah. No, that's not
the Warriors.
That's not the right team. He was a St. John's
Pacers.
St. John's Redmen.
Chris Mullin.
So I think
but yeah,
to sum it all up, yeah. I mean, unless you have more.
No,
to talk
I was
about.
just trying to The thing is, I have more fun. Definitely have more fun playing it now than I did then.
Well, you played a one player back then.
Yeah.
So
I really don't remember even playing it that much with anyone else, which is weird. You know.
It would be a good one to have in the rotation.
Oh, you mean just to have back then?
Yeah. Just to, play all your games.
Yeah, it wasn't like a
in between.
It was weird because
Kung Fu Kid.
It's not like a mainstream game. Like you could probably ask most people, they probably don't really have that.
If you're a gamer, you know the game.
Yeah.
But if you're not, they're not going to know it. They might know Turtles.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, everyone.
But they're not going to know. They're not going to know Sunset Riders, by and large.
Yeah.
So I think the recommendation is going to be, if you can find the Super Nintendo one, definitely try to get that.
Whatever it is, I think right now, at least unless it starts going up to like 100, like it's definitely worth the $70. If it's $70,
with the way things have been going, it might be up that far.
No, I'm just saying the cart by itself, I'm pretty sure it's like $70. It's funny because like there's so many fakes, repros on.
New Other, man, look at this.
What, the cart or the
New Other? It's fake. It's a fake cart. I mean,
you have to type in Sunset Riders Authentic.
Why do I have to type in Authentic? Why can't I just type in Sunset Riders?
I know, it's wild. There's so many repros. Are there any buy it now or best offers? Or?
There's only a few copies on here that are authentic, and they're all going for over $100. 120.
Look on sold. Is that with the box though?
One is with the box, and that's almost 200.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah. So hold on, let me see.
Talk about one I wish I had the box for.
Right. I mean, pretty much any game like that for the Super Nintendo. So, I don't know, maybe that's just people who are looking to cash in.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, someone had listed it for 70 in this Facebook group. So
yeah, the latest one was sold for 80 plus shipping, 70 plus shipping.
So I mean, anywhere you go, I guess
this is a complete one for 80.
Someone got a deal, or is it like a repro box? Because people are doing those now.
Really?
Yeah, people are making repro box. I mean, unless maybe it's just someone put it up with like a buy.
Yeah,
now.
this is a repro box.
Yeah. This is what it's come to.
You're on the spot, man. What the heck? This is what I'm talking about here. You don't even know.
It's got a repro insert, repro manual.
$100 just the cart. $100 just the cart. $91 with shipping.
Man, I mean, even though it's that, I still think it's worth $100, just because it has so much replay. You could play it through by yourself. It's still just as fun as playing a 2-player. I think.
I mean, just take your time though. I mean, there's another one here that sold for $60 with plus shipping. So I mean, you just gotta bide your time.
No, I know, but I'm just saying
check your local.
It's worth it. It's worth it either way. I think whatever you're gonna pay for, I still think it's worth it.
I worry about these repros, man. What if the boards are too thick? They ruin your systems.
Well, that's why we don't. That's why we don't do the repros.
No. So,
but the Genesis version, I would just
I would avoid it. I don't think it's worth it.
It's definitely not.
I don't think it's worth it. I really don't. I think if you're willing to spend $40 on the Genesis version, take that money, save it, put it towards the Super Nintendo version, and I think you're going to be all the happier for it.
Yeah. The only necessity is just if you're going for a complete Genesis collection. That's about it.
Okay, well, that's 1 out of 855 games.
That's telling you, that's the only reason to buy it.
Gosh.
Unless you find it somewhere for cheap, then obviously get it. But I wouldn't pay whatever $100 complete for it.
Agreed.
You're getting a whole.
Agreed.
It's like getting a whole Saturn collection.
But it is a classic. It's a game that there's not much like it. That's the thing. Is like it's not where you can find a beat 'em up that's good and you can suggest something else maybe if it's too expensive. There's not really anything like Sunset Riders. I don't even think you can call Contra.
Like you like Final Fight 3 is bad. Well, you could play
Rival Turf
or Brawl Brothers. Or
which
one of those
is
ones.
Maybe better. You know, for $10 or $15.
Yeah.
Whereas Sunset Riders, I don't think there's a sort of an analog to that. That's the same.
No, yeah,
not that I can think of. So for that reason alone, I think it might be worth it to spend a little bit more cash and get the Super Nintendo version.
Oh, definitely, most definitively.
So, but that's about it. That's all we have to say about that. I think it stands on its own as a great game, and if you hadn't had a chance to experience it, try to remedy that, because it's a phenomenal game, and it's a great thing to do with a buddy too. If you have a friend over, it's probably a 30-minute playthrough.
It's actually a fairly long game. Because when I was playing it like a week or two ago,
depending on skill.
I probably
put
in at least like 45 minutes or so, and I hadn't got to the last level yet.
All right, that's because you suck.
Well, that's not really. You just go from left to right. It's not like a it's not like a wave of enemies and you're just stuck in one spot.
Well, having said that, whatever you're doing, guys, keep gaming, keep enjoying it, keep living, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it turbo. Chew it and do it.